Today, I would like to analyze several moments from the structure of the market. We will take the asset of the salon, and the last time it was very good, there were excellent positions, so we will take it today. In order to disassemble the structure from my trading strategy Nightstar, let's start with one position. I just want to demonstrate to you the effectiveness of trading in my trading strategy Nightstar. Of course, it has many other elements, and in addition to the structure you need, and not quite say you need for some who trade there separately, let's say, who have their own trading styles, but that's all you need is a clean structure and visibility with which you will filter all dirty manipulations plus there. And the removal of the inducement of this whole thing, and in principle, all this is all that you absolutely need in order to understand where the price will move here on the salon timeframe M15. I usually trade M5. Let's disassemble the position. I opened it in the Telegram channel. The link will be in the description. If that I threw off absolutely before, after the intermediate stage of processing, also according to the structure we have before that what happened at all. Let's now remove everything. Unnecessary. We will determine our point of oscillation. We know how I determine the point of oscillation. This is exclusively after the confirmation of the removal of the inducement. That is, we remove the inducement of the attraction. Our point of oscillation is already confirmed. That is, without this induction, without this promotion, I do not open any positions, and I also do not mark the structure. I see that we have a minimum here, a maximum here, but this is a post factum. It is already immediately visible. We have a small inducement here, a purely structural one, then here again a new point of oscillation. But the price is updated, we see here in the shadows, so the boss here is not confirmed. In fact, this maximum will be, well, even if the boss was here, I know we will not look through every moment. The bottom line is that this maximum was weak. As a rule, their sequence is very weak. The price often removes them and continues to move down on the old frame. It was just an inducement of an hourly time. Frame, we will say, plus if we look carefully at the range itself, at the very nature of the movement inside this range, all you need to know is also the nature of the price movement. But this again has to be examined with experience. That is, you have a maximum here, and it is confirmed here, but it is confirmed only after the removal of the inducement, and it is right here. And look, when the inducement is so close to the maximum, that is, they are relatively equal, and of course all this will be removed. The shadow will be removed, but this will be, let's say, a fake IFE candle. You go into sale here, and subsequently it moves so planarly further up, so it is aimed at the entrance, this is why I hid the sale here, about the fact that the structure of the fake was broken. We realized that it was here. In fact, there was no further, of course. Purely, technically, of course, the maximum is confirmed here because there is a removal of the inducement. But the main goal for me will be this, given minimum, to which the price later, as you can see, came very well. It just spilled out super cool. So we had here the formation of, let's say, a small one, not that a secondary short trend, but just from such a movement, with such a character of the movement. The price turns down. This is an unobvious reversal. I have already filmed a video about an unobvious reversal. That is, when the price forms something like this, usually this is typical of cryptocurrency, we have a confirmed maximum, we have an inducement, but the price does not immediately go up. That is, we see some movements that involve buying, which are trying to go higher to this maximum, but the price does not go. As a result, it falls down and vied to us. Therefore, the opening of the position, of course, was not in the most ideal place here because there was a very uncertain situation here, but still, it opened, the price here removed an invalid return. That is, we allegedly had a break here, a removal of an invalid return. That is, in fact, this is how the model looked, a break, then remove this high bite, and a reversal already down, confirmation of the main break here, well, the true break, let's say so, the position went into processing. Here we then, after the impulse, a new market Auction was formed in a state of balance. That is, it was simply traded, volumes were traded here. A large player gained a position in this zone of balance, because here it was as imperceptible as possible, after which the overflow passed. Before this overflow, of course, there were strong attempts to go up, attempts to go higher. Why? Because buyers entered the market, they believed that the price would go higher, and in order to gain a good short position, a large player just needs a crowd of buyers so that they buy assets from him. He calmly went on sale. Here we had the removal of liquidity, the range itself, how we looked here. That is, the structural advantage of our strategy is that we have a clear checklist, a clear understanding of the maximums and minimums, not like in ordinary smart money. So the maximum was the last one in this place. The actual minimum was in this place. All this is internal liquidity, which is removed within this range, after which the price falls below, makes a new boss. Again, respectively, confirms a new maximum. Of course, maybe it will be weak, because the price did not trade 0.5 there, but it removed, which is very important, this weak maximum. So there is no point in the price to return here to remove it, despite the fact that there was such a strong impulse. It will only happen in time. The sign will not return, only after a long time. So here I have a take. I will go 1.5, go to Telegram. The link will be in the description of this video. And there, this position was opened. So the second situation is very good. It was also recently here. It was on January 25th. We also had a very good range, a minimum, a maximum. Here it went up very much. In all these manipulations, it was also very easy to figure out why, because you have a clear understanding of my structure. The structure of my trading strategy is old. We have a minimum here, a maximum, a new minimum. There was a removal of the inducement. There was a boss here, so the maximum was confirmed here. And we see that this maximum removes just the same shadows. It does 3 sweeps. It does absorption here. Of course, it is dangerous to enter here at once. It would be possible to break this zone by a quarter, enter just such a second quarter, but this is quite dangerous. So the entrance itself, which I wanted to disassemble, it was in this place. This is just the formation of a fake setup, which I often trade on Forex during Frankfurt. That is, this is a super cool topic. Again, a classic removal of an inducement. Such a rather massive one. There was a large amount of liquidity behind it. It played a role, well, as I explained in all my videos, such a role, let's say liquidity, before the price is fixed. The removal of all this additional liquidity in this place. The price is removed by the inducement. Here there was an involvement in the purchase in order for a large player to start gaining his position in the sale, after which, well, let's say, such a small bug, where the price was traded up and down, and the position was gaining in the sale. Why did this strong impulse go down? Yes, because a very large amount began to pour into the market. It was gaining just in this area, where it would not be very noticeable. The removal of an inducement in this place is a confirmation of this minimum. The entrance could happen after taking this secondary inducement. The absorption of the last order flow, its retest, and, for example, after the price has absorbed this minimum. That is, you could, for example, say, the market there clamped the position somewhere in this place, because if you enter like this, it is dangerous, it can interrupt this maximum. There will be a resweep. I really like the situation here in this place, where the price did the removal of liquidity from the past candles, here in this place, after which this candle becomes the basis. The next candle absorbs it with the body. In fact, this candle is a single candle block at the moment from which you enter the position. pips. This is how you go here to open with a stop loss for this zone. And you profit for some of your goals. Usually I pull 1 to 5, 1 to 6, something in the middle. Subsequently, we see that this model has closed. We had a boss here, a rupture of the structure in the continuation of the current trend, confirmation of a new maximum. That is, in classic sport mania, we would go shopping here, because there was supposedly a break, reactions up, attempts to go higher, and so on. Liquidity up here. Again, we are now focusing on the bulk of stupid retail traders in the market, who analyze only the schedule, rely on any movement, on any impulse. That's all. Here, of course, it was also possible to use the email line as a confirmation for the entrance. That is, at E15, if we go in, we see that there was a deviation above this line. That is, we went behind it. In this deviation, you could go on sale. That is, it was also a good confirmation that the price will fall. It removed the inducement here, removed liquidity, and continued to fall down. It was also possible to use divergence with support points of oscillation, but here I don't see any maximum from which we could push. That is, to catch the divergence with this high. In fact, it was here. For example, if we take this maximum as a support point, because it is the highest, the principle of movement started from it as a support point, and we can consider divergence with it. It was here. The highest point here was also a deviation from the upper limit of the range on the indicator. That is, in fact, the design is very good. The classic model is Mirage Stub, structural model from my trading strategy Nightstar. Okay friends, thank you all for watching.